All right, good morning and welcome again to the How Can I Help My Child series this beautiful Thursday morning. We said yesterday that kindness between siblings is the first lesson in love and respect. When we teach our children to be kind to each other, we are launching them or introducing them to a world of love and a world of respect where they know how to love and respect other people and demand to be loved and respected. It is where they will learn how to use words, right? And they will know that words can heal. They will know that actions can uplift people from whatever burden it is that they are going through. And they will know that the hearts can grow to love and to understand other people's perspective and be empathetic towards other people. Welcome to the show. Today, we are looking at how we can help our children who are preteens, who are unapproachable and usually or sometimes unkind to their siblings, become better, because we know that if our preteens are going through this, it's because they lack certain skills, and that is why they are exhibiting this. We started this episode yesterday, and because we didn't have enough time to finish, we decided that we were going to come back and continue today. My name is Maribeth Chima, and I am the founder of the Parenting Through Mentorship Academy and PTM Resources. And yes, I am the proud matron of the Mastermind Circle, a peer mentorship and accountability group for children and preteens. If you are with me, then let us know in the comments section that you are on this live stream. If you are with me, don't just stay in the background. Please send a shout out so that we can shout out right back to you. Welcome to the show. Yesterday, we looked at a number of things that could be the reason why your preteen, why your young adolescent is so grouchy, why they are constantly fighting and constantly giving their younger siblings the silent treatment, being nasty and always at loggerheads. All right. We shared a few of the things, and we said one of the reasons could be that your child is just going through a lot, right? Your child is going through a lot emotionally, and the child is going through a lot as a result of maturity. A lot is going on as far as hormonal balance is concerned, and then the child is having to deal with all of these physiological changes that the child themselves probably doesn't even understand is going on, right? This is one of the reasons that your child could be behaving that way. All right, we said also that the child could be dealing with being autonomous and independent. All of a sudden your 10, 12, 13-year old feels like a big boy or a big girl. All right, it is their preteens, right? It is an early adolescents, and they are already feeling like, now I can make my own decisions. Now I want to be alone in my room. Now I want some quiet in my room. Now I want to play a little game, and all of that. And their little siblings who are still running up and down the place come in to disrupt that autonomy or to disrupt that independence. And so the only way that they will respond, or the way that they have the ability to respond, is to act in a nasty way, because identity and independence have become an issue. All right, so we're going to jump right into the fourth reason. I think I gave three yesterday. I also talked about a lack of empathy, when the child doesn't know how to empathize because he hasn't gotten a good model of, empathy. You are probably, or some of us are probably still in that space. Okay, a lot of us are in that space where when our preteens fail, we criticize them. They get into trouble for failing, they get into trouble for the things that they do. I mean, look at this kind of action. When they do it, they get into a lot of trouble with us because we don't want to take their rubbish, because they seem to have a lot of it during this phase of their lives. And so they get into trouble so often, and they are constantly being criticized. And usually the child feels like you do not show them you're not fair. The child feels you're not fair. The child feels, overly, overly punished, and all of that. And guess what? Usually they turn and they pour all of that frustration, and they pour all of that lack of empathy also on their younger sibling, because they don't get a lot of empathy themselves. So these are some of the reasons. Today we're going to be looking at three more reasons why your preteen, your early adolescents, may be very grouchy, constantly being nasty, especially towards their younger siblings, sometimes even towards older people and even their parents. Why they seem to be rebellious, and why they seem to always be in that place of grouchiness, and just generally unsatisfied, except of course there is food and snack and some of those things that they love in the dynamics. All right, so whatever it is, your children go through this. And if you know what I'm talking about, if this resonates with you, if you're a parent of a young adolescent or a preteen and you're already seeing this, please let us know in the comments, right, how it is how it is manifesting in your own home, right? Let us know how it's manifesting in your home. Let us know how it is showing up in your own space, so that you will be sharing with other people and we can learn from shared experiences. All right, so the first thing we'll be looking at today is when there are no sets, when we don't have well defined dynamics in our home, when we don't have structures in our home, when we do not have a system in our home that allows, okay, when we don't have a system in our home that allow our children to learn, right, that allow our children to learn and know how to navigate through this phase of their lives, when we don't simulate our children through the systems that we have built in our home, when we don't create a system in our home where adults, right, where the older siblings rather, where older siblings and older people model to the children how to respond or how to deal with their emotions or the things that they go through without having to destroy the next person, or not having to be nasty or unkind to the next person. Okay, when we teach the children that being independent does not mean being, unkind, basically. So when we do all of this, then the children know better and they act better. I'll give you examples of how this works or how this spans out or plays out in the family dynamics. For instance, if you are not a very intentional family where you have family traditions, for example, as part of your family dynamics. Now, what are those family traditions? Your family traditions could be things like traveling together during the summer, could be bonding activities during the summer holiday, could be having big Christmas feasts during Christmas, could be cooking together on a particular day, or having cooking competitions, having this competition, hanging out with daddy, hanging out with mommy, doing things together as a family. Now, the more your children get to do things together, the more they learn to bond, the more they learn to work as a team, the more they learn to accommodate each other's excesses, the more they interact and they connect with each other. So families that have dynamics that allow the children to interact that creates systems where the children bond intentionally, interact intentionally, do things together intentionally, put each other, accommodate each other's excesses intentionally. When you have this kind of family, these challenges are reduced because the siblings are used to being together and doing things together, and having to accommodate each other, or having to live in synergy with each other. Okay, compared to a family where these dynamics do not exist. So if you are that family where basically everybody wakes up in the morning, good morning mommy, good morning daddy, in some cases our children don't even say good morning to each other. In families where these things are not intentionally placed or not intentionally introduced as part of your system. So you can actually have children who wake up in the morning, don't say anything to each other, they just pass each other, or at the most say good morning to each other. We have families where the children do not even hug each other. It's not part of your practice that your 10-year-old daughter is hugging her 14-year-old brother, okay, that your 15-year-old son is hugging his 17-year-old sister. We do not deliberately infuse these things in our family dynamics. So on this, I mean, straight up in our home, our children do not even have, they don't have a practice of showing affection between themselves. They don't have the practice of being tender towards each other. They don't have the practice of connecting with each other. So because we haven't, as parents, deliberately put this kind of environment or created this kind of environment in our home, it makes it difficult, first of all, for our children to, just be in sync, or, interacts seamlessly with each other, and then of course cut each other's slacks. So because this is the dynamics, it's really very easy for a person who wants to be alone to say to the one who tries to come to their space, get out of here. I mean, I don't want you in my space and all of that. So when we have this kind of dynamics in our homes, we realize that our children will be more affectionate towards their friends, and the people, as they grow older, they begin to have, emotional entanglements with people. And you see that your son is more expressive towards a friend that is a girl outside, and in a way, I mean, they're tender towards these people, they are compassionate towards these people, they are expressive, right, towards these people as far as the way they feel, but they have never been that expressive in any way, or they've never been expressive towards their own siblings, at home and all of that, because you did not have that practice, or you did not have the dynamics in your home. So these are the things that we're talking about. So but for families who have these, there are less frictions, there are less of, these things that we're talking about, because even when they come up, there is a system in the home that allows the children reconcile, that allows them forget that this person said something or did something nasty to me the other time, because it's only a matter of time. There will be a part of your system in your home where the children are hugging each other, laughing again, and playing with each other, and being in each other's space. Okay, so this is part of it. All right, now the next one is poor conflict resolution. If as a parent you have not created a system of conflict resolution in your home, you are going to create a lot of friction and chaos amongst your children. And conflict resolution is not just about you calling your children, come here, come here. When something happens, they report to you, and then you come, you listen to this person, you listen to that person, you take sides. Okay, whether it is to you that you're not taking side, you're just being fair, to the child you are taking sides. And chances are there is a tendency to take sides with the younger one, more than you take side with the older one, because as it is, we expect that the older siblings should know better and should act better. But the truth about it, they may be older as far as years and counting years goes, okay, but they are still children. So whether your child is 8 and his sibling is 4, your 8-year-old is still a child and will not see it that you are taking side with the 4-year-old simply because he's older. He doesn't see it that way. He's still a child. So what we want to do is we want to create a system. Okay, you want to create a system and put a system on ground where your children learn to resolve their conflict on their own. All right, you create a system where they can resolve their conflict on their own, or there is a pattern that they have to go through to resolve their conflict, and then the height of it, or the last resort, is now coming to you simply because, or going to an adult simply because they were unable to resolve the conflicts between them. But what you want to do is create a system where on their own they learn to resolve their conflicts. As they do this, they will learn to resolve bigger problems between themselves as they grow older, such that even when you are not in the dynamics, your children can still find peace, your children can still relate to each other, and your children can still be each other's best friends, or can still be each other's friends, simply because you have raised them within a system, or you have raised them and you have taught them how to resolve their conflicts on their own. It is such a powerful thing that you need to do. You need to do for your children. I don't know, if you look around you, I mean, look around you, there are some really terrible cases that you see where in a family of four, you will see two division or three divisions right in a family of four children and two parents, six people. Yet there are cliques within a family. I mean, when this is the case, I mean, there's no other way to look at it. The parents have failed. The parents have absolutely failed. Hi, Sarah. How are you doing? Thanks for joining. As a parent, you have absolutely failed if you have four children, and within your four children, you have been able to cause two camps as far as fighting war goes. Okay, it's wrong. When we see families that are closely knitted, when we see families that the bond is very strong, okay, I always turn and I look for the parents, because the truth is, if you have a family where people are not closely knitted, okay, it is usually the actions or inactions of the parents that leads to that. Okay, so as a parent, you do not want to make the mistake of not creating a system in your home that will help your children connect, right, and stay connected as siblings. You want to intentionally do everything within your power to make sure that the bond or the love between your children can grow, and the children can foster that growth on their own, with or without you. And the first place, or the first thing that destroys that bond right with from you, when the children are as little as 1, 2, 3, and all in the first, their formative years, is how you resolve conflicts between them, and how you teach them to resolve conflicts between themselves. So as early as possible, invest in teaching your children how to resolve conflicts between themselves. Okay, result in teaching your children how to repair their relationship every time there is strife, or every time there has been a break in their relationship. What do I mean? You see that thing that we do when the children have a dispute between them. You call them, Agnes, come here. Tobe, come here. Or I come here. What is wrong? What happened? Tobe will tender his own case. Agnes will tender the case. Tobe, you are the one that is wrong. You are the wrong that is wrong. Come on, apologize. Say sorry to her. And then he goes, sorry. And then, of course, you not tell them to hug or something like that, and they go, dear mommy, dear daddy, nothing has happened. You have done nothing. In fact, you have made the situation worse. Okay, because what you have done is you have brought two people together, you have acted as the judge, you have acted as the jury, you have taken sides, and you have left one person feeling bad, and you have left one person feeling powerful. Okay, but what you want to do in cases like this is you want to actually listen to both of them, and then ask the both of them what they think. I mean, now that we've heard from each other, what do you think you could have done differently? What do you think that you did that escalated this situation? And then what do you think that you did that escalated the situation? What could you have done differently? Or if you were in your sister's shoes, if the conflict is still going on and they still have, okay, if you were in your sister's shoes, what would you have done differently? Let him help the sister or the younger sibling, know what to do differently. we have to position our children, position the older siblings to be models and be mentors to their younger siblings. We need to do that even in our resolving or our conflict resolution patterns. Okay, do it in a way that the older sibling can mentor the younger sibling. In all of it, help the younger sibling trust, in the choices of the older sibling. And then, of course, you can only do that when you consistently work with each of your children, helping them learn how to make good choices, make informed choices. Okay, so parenting is a whole long haul journey. Okay, it is not it's not a, what do you call it now? It's not a sprint, right? It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. All right, so you have to be building capacity every day. You're building the capacity of your children as a unit. You're building the capacity of each of them as individuals. You are looking at the gaps that they have. You're looking at their strength. You're looking at their weaknesses. You will notice that you probably have that child that may be older, but is not emotionally as assertive as a younger child. So what do? It means that you will have to help this particular child work on their emotions so that they know how to resolve, small problems. They know how to deal with small emotions and big emotions. So what are you seeing in the child? Which part of the child's life do you need to act on, work on, and help the child become better? Because it is prerequisite that we teach our children how to resolve conflicts between themselves, amongst themselves, so that they can foster relationships between and amongst themselves, with or without you. Now, when they now resolve, or when they now talk about, when you have finished having these conversations with them and all of that, let them go. Okay, after we have arrived at something, at least someone has learned, someone has taught, and all of that. Don't force them to say sorry to each other. Okay, create a system in your home where your children know and learn how to reflect. Now, how do you teach children reflection? Okay, so this is what we do at our home. Especially during the holiday like this. As I'm here in this session now, the children are planning their day. All right, the children are planning their day. I have a 15-year-old, an almost 15-year-old, and a 9-year-old. So as I'm here right now, each of them is planning their day, and amidst doing chores and all of that. Now, when I'm done with this session, we're all going to sit down, all right, and have a review. That's what we call it. We have a review of what your morning has been like, because I expect that you would have woken up right between 6:30 and 7. Okay, you would have said your morning prayers, your personal devotion. You should have done that. My both children belong to the Mastermind Circle, our peer mentorship and accountability group. Our son is a peer mentor. Our daughter is a partner in the Mastermind Circle. I expect that you would have looked at your Mastermind tool and you would have seen what your task for the day is that you have to do. Our son belongs to a mentorship program. I expect that he would have looked at his own teenage mentorship program and see what it is that he's supposed to do today. Okay, and then you would create a plan based on these things. Okay, in that plan there is your chore. In that plan, there is the time for personal development where you're going to be where you're going to be doing the things, your tools from your mentorship programs, okay, and where you are going to be building your skill. Our children have skills that each of them, talents that they have, and they are honing on their own, right? So you would do something, an activity to help you build on your skill every day. And so you have that time. So you would have put the time that you're going to do for skill training, or practice or something like that. You would have put the time that you are going to have your screen time for the day. For your screen time for the day. All right. So screen doesn't come on in my home till about 12 noon. And for our daughter, she goes off at 2 p.m. All right. For our son, he goes off at 3 p.m. All right. So you're going to put there in that plan your screen time and what you're going to be doing. All right. With that screen time. And then your outdoor play or free time. Yeah. So basically, you have a plan. Now, when we stop to talk and talk about this in the morning, that is me teaching them to build their muscle on reflection. We're reflecting. What is your day like? What are you planning to do today? What are you going to achieve today? And all of that. Now what we do at the end of the day, at dinner, we actually, while eating, we reflect on our day. So what was your day like? What did you do? What did you achieve? Do you understand? What did you do? What did you achieve? And then you come, oh, this person made me feel this way. This is what I went through. This is how I felt. That's where the conversation, what you're doing, you are teaching them reflection. Okay. And then after that, they take their journals and they journal. This is you teaching your children how to reflect. It is through reflection that you're able to stop and think, oh, that thing I said to my sister, that wasn't very kind. That thing I did with my friend, that wasn't very good, and all of that. Now, the child on their own is able to repair their relationship because they've had time to reflect. And so, at the point where I'm having pillow talks with you at the end of the day, I'm able to say to you, oh, that thing that happened, what have you resolved? I mean, what did you where did you arrive at? What have you resolved, that you're going to do? And here you will see the child say, oh, I apologize, or I'm going to apologize tomorrow. Da, da, da. So this is how you teach children to repair their relationship through reflection and actually understanding and coming to the place where they made up their mind because they understand the importance of their relationship, and so they are repairing that relationship. All right, not the one that children are forced to say sorry when your children do things, and then you talk to them. In fact, some of us practically have to beg our children to go and apologize. Just go and just apologize. You know how this person is. Just go and apologize. Just apologize and rest. Of course. So what are we raising? We're raising cold people. What are we raising? We're raising people who do not sober reflect. We're raising people who will struggle today, in the future. They will struggle because they don't know how to actually sit down, reflect, and repair their relationship from a place of understanding. All right. So you want to do that. When we do this, then we help our preteens, right, understand the value of relationship, how to build those relationships, and as I said, the dynamics you have in your home, the system you have created in your home, that structure will help your teens know how to handle themselves, even with all that is going on with adolescents and them. And so it will help you raise teens who are approachable and who are kind and not so nasty to their siblings or anybody else, no matter what it is that they are going through. Parenting is a marathon. It's not a sprint. So it is much more than I send my children to a good school and make sure they have food to eat, they dress up nicely, we go to church and we read scripture. It's much more than that. It is deeper. It is your staying power. It is your strategy. It is what you have put in place to ensure that you are raising a wholesome human being. Okay? And the last one we're going to be talking about is jealousy and rivalry. Yes, jealousy and rivalry amongst your children, thanks to you. Most times you have jealousy and rivalry in a family. Go back and look closely. It was actually initiated, powered, fed by the parents. Okay, knowingly or unknowingly. It begins with comparison. When you start comparing, oh, that child is the one that is the wonderful, that child is the one that does well. Okay, so sometimes it's not even direct comparison. Okay, it is just your children listening to you pour accolades on one child consistently, and they never hear you pour any accolades on them. Whether you are doing it directly or you are telling stories to grandma on the phone, their brother, your sisters, your siblings on the phone, or bragging to your friends. Okay, it is the end of the school year. July, August just happened. If you see now, you know my Tunde now. Tunde no they form my hand. Tunde no they came tops in his school. Tunde this, Tunde that. Do you know he was the valedictorian? Do you know that he was this? Do you know that he was that? Tunde. Meanwhile, Iyabo is there in the background watching a movie. Iyabo is there in the background eating lunch. You have just sat down and talked about Tunde for one straight hour. Not one word came out of your mouth about Iyabo, simply because Iyabo is not your trophy child. Iyabo is not the one that is bringing all the glory. Iyabo is not the one that when you walk into the school, you know the picture of him on the wall, the picture of Iyabo on the wall is why you strut with your shoulder like this, okay? So because she's not the one that is always at the top, so her name will never come up. So you go on and on and on and on and on. So whether or not you are saying, oh, Iyabo, Tunde is better than you outrightly, Iyabo feels that way because of how you are going about Tunde's prowess. Okay, some of us will not even leave it at that. Some of us would put it in words and serve it to the child consistently, telling them how they never do well or they never focus. How all you know is how to sing and dance. Look at your brother that does not sing and dance. See what he's doing with himself and his time. So basically, we go on and on and on like this. Now, this is it. These are children. These are human beings, not just children. These are human beings. And whether you like it or not, some level of, jealousy is going to, emerge. Some level of jealousy will build up, in many cases. And so, expressed or not expressed, this child has a bias, has bitterness, has jealousy inside that is building quietly, silently, or outward, loudly. So sometimes you will not know until there is a conflict between the two children and you dare to take sides with Tunde again. And so if Iyabo is the outspoken one, she will go all out on you and how, oh, it's never me, I'm never good enough. She will go all out on you. Now, if Iyabo is the suppressed kind of child, those ones that we like to call good simply because they are people of little words, simply because they are deep and they deal with their emotions inside. Those are the real bitter ones. They deal with their emotions inside and do not know how to express it, okay? But they will leave it. They will leave it for the longest time. So yes, when they are adolescents or when they are preteens, and this is Iyabo, probably the older one, and Tunde is the younger one, and comes around her, there is the chance that it will always be nasty, always repellent, always unkind, and unapproachable towards this younger sibling, just because you have cultivated, right? You have cultivated hatred in her without even knowing that you are doing this. And the bad part about all of this that I'm talking about, all of this that we've talked about your preteens and why they are unapproachable or why they are unkind, is the fact that if these are not taken, seriously and of course worked on, and the child helped, to see differently, to act differently, and the children to build a bond and understanding between themselves, okay, it doesn't go away. It doesn't dissipate with age. It just stays in the background, and it builds up to other things. So that's why sometimes we see siblings when they are older, they may not be fighting outrightly, but each one doesn't mean deeper than just a few phone calls to each other, or one of, oh, you are down, you need whatever. You realize that the relationship is tied to, probably, okay, you are in need, and then we gather together, put some money together, and we throw it at that person. And then that's another thing. As our children grow older, we have managed to We have managed to drive closeness and connection between our children and, support for each other as a family. We've managed to narrow it down to only each one contributing and sending money when the other one is in need. We have managed to reduce it to naira and kobo as we do everything. Parents, the relationship between our children should be deeper. The relationship between our children should span beyond currency. The relationship between our children should have depth, so much depth that one sibling can leave everything and be there for another sibling. Remember, I said at the beginning, kindness between siblings is the first lesson in love and respect. It is where we learn that our words can heal. It is where we learn that our actions can uplift. It is where we learn that the hearts can grow to understand. We want to raise children that we don't have to tell to be there for each other or to be there for other people. We want to raise children that we don't want to make excuses every time for why they choose to go with their personal, why they choose themselves every time as far as sacrificing towards the other person is concerned. We don't want to raise children that have to think about the gains, okay, and think about how it serves them first all the time before they think about being there and showing up for children and making for others and make excuses about this every time. You know the thing, I say this and I say it all the time. The child that you raise today, especially when it has to do with emotions and being there, all right? The child that you raise today, that non-challenged child, that committed child, that disloyal child that you raise today, you, their parents, will be the first beneficiary. You will be. It's a matter of time. You are not always going to be young. You will be the beneficiary of what it is that you are raising today in that child. You raise an uncommitted child. A time will come when you need commitment, they won't be there. You raise a child who has to do the things that serve them first on all the time. You will have a child that when you need them, they will chase. I mean, your child will go will go clubbing first before they attend to your need. You raise a child like this, your child would take care of their nails and fix their eyelashes first before they come and take care of you or show up for you, even at the point where it is life and death. I'm going to stop there for today, dear parents, and I hope we've done justice to how you can help your children to know, your preteens, to handle those big emotions and handle whatever it is that they are going through that make them so, rebellious, that make them so unapproachable, that make them always moody, just because of some of these things that they could be going through or dealing with. So it's our job to pay attention to what could be the issue with our children and then begin to fix this. All right, we work with parents through the mastermind circle, our parent mentorship and accountability group for little children or young children and preteens, 5 years and 8 months kids who are 5 and 8 months, all right, up to kids who are 13. We work with them to put and to bring all of these things that we talk about, right? We want to partner with you as parents to put all of these things that we're talking about, and work with our children to learn, to build, to develop, to grow, right? And apply all these things that we're talking about in their lives so that we're raising children who are wholesome, children who can be a blessing to themselves, to you as a family, to their community, and to the world at large. Okay, we want to partner with you to mentor, to pair mentor, to hold your children accountable, to help them build skills, to help them develop habits that can last and can be transformed even as they grow older. If you'd like to be a part of the mastermind circle, you want your child to join us in the mastermind circle. Our next cohort begins in the first week of September. You have the information scrolling on the screen right now. You can screen grab that information and reach out to us to register your child to be a part of the mastermind circle. It is such an affordable system. It is less than 6,000 naira per month to join the mastermind circle. What it means is that for an entire year, you will be paying just 70,000 naira for us to work with your child for 365 days. Is that what it is? 365 days, right? We will be with your child all through the year, and we will show up for them every single day, Monday through Sunday or Sunday through Sunday. All right. So it's such a robust, and close knitted group where we know every single child in the mastermind, and we work with them with that deep knowledge of each of them and their individuality. All right, so you want your child to be a part of the mastermind circle. In the meantime, you want your children to read books that will help them grow in these areas that we're talking about, that will help them become empathetic, that will help them hone their skills, that will help them look inward and see who they truly are and believe in themselves. I've just written two powerful books, two amazing and transformational books that your children 7 plus need to read. So if you have a child between 7 and 13, then rush and grab these two books that I have just written. The books are on pre-order right now, so you can get both of them for 399, I mean 6999. Yes, you can get both the books at pre-order cost for 6999. You have the information also on the screen to get the two-in-one set. Okay, you can pay to our Zenith Bank account, PTM resources 1226006027006, and send, of course, your proof to the phone number on the screen. You can also screen grab that and then reach out to pre-order the book. Pre-order ends on the 31st of August. So you want to get your book as soon as possible. You want to pay for them today. Okay, and you can pick up in the closest pickup points around your city. We have pickup points in major cities, okay, and then of course we can send them to you also from Abuja. If you're in Abuja, all you need to do is drive and pick it up from one of our pickup points in Lagos, Port Harcourt, Asaba, Enugu. Many of these major cities. All you need to do is just go pick up after paying. All right, as soon as the books are available next week. All right. So thank you very much for joining me again. I do not take it for granted that you allow me to be or play a tiny part in your parenting journey. Have a fantastic day and God bless you. Bye. Bye now. Bye.